The Department of Public Health and Human Services is pleased to bring you Aging Horizons. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, fraud, legal issues, veterans benefits, and caregiving. Aging Horizons is a program dedicated to inform and prepare Montanans on these timely issues, making a difference to you and your loved ones. Here now is today's program host.
Hi folks, welcome to Aging Horizons. On today's show, we'll be talking about Medicare, particularly the Medicare Open Enrollment Plan. It's for Part D. It starts October 15th, goes through December 7th. The Part D plan is for your prescription drugs. We'll be talking about how you can evaluate how your plan is working now, and if it's not working like you'd like it to, you'll be able to change it. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Summer in Montana is a great time to visit your local farmer's market. Enjoy the social atmosphere while shopping for a wide variety of fresh, locally grown produce. Together with both WIC and Senior Farmers Market nutrition programs, you help feed your family 5 or more daily servings of fruits and vegetables for better health. You also help local ag producers and enhance the state's economy. So, for summer fun that's nutritious and helps Montana's economy, shop at your local farmer's market.
45 years, 2 packs a day. That's like $80,000. I thought I was just hurting myself until I fell asleep in a chair with a cigarette. The whole house went up. I lost it all. I knew smoking was expensive, but I never thought it would cost me everything.
The human heart. Even at its strongest, it's a fragile muscle. Chest and arm pain, shortness of breath, are signs of a heart under attack. But 3 numbers can save a life. Dial 911 at the first sign of a heart attack. Quick response from medical experts can save your life.
I was 45 and it happened to me, a heart attack.
Dialing 911 saved Ryan's life. Now he's here and he's healthy.
This message sponsored by Mission Lifeline Montana.
Every 65 seconds, someone is affected with Alzheimer's or other dementias. Many become isolated at a time when help is most needed. If you or someone you love is affected, help is available, both for people with memory loss and their caregivers. Memory loss can feel frightening, but you are not alone. Call the free 24/7 Alzheimer's Association helpline, 800-272-3900, for guidance and support.
Welcome to Aging Horizons, brought to you by the Department of Public Health and Human Services. I'm your host, Brian Lamore. And as I mentioned, we're going to be talking mostly about Medicare Part D, which is your drug prescription program, which in open enrollment period will be coming up pretty quick here, October 15th through December 7th. And of course, we've brought an expert in the Medicare field. We have Kimmy Everman, your program specialist. Welcome to the show again.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks.
Welcome to your show.
Well, and welcome back to your show.
Well, thank you. Well, you know, we always like to start the show with the ABCs and D of Medicare, so people know what we're talking about and can better understand it. So tell us ABCD.
Sure. Okay, first of all, for most folks, Medicare is going to come to them when they're 65, so on their 65th birthday. Mm-hmm. Of course, there are some people who get Medicare sooner because they are disabled by Social Security criteria, but most of us are going to get it at 65. Yes. When we do, we're going to see 4 parts that we are going to be able to mix and match and choose. A, B, C, and D. Mm-hmm. Part A is the hospital, or what's referred to as your major medical. So when you're going to the hospital, having surgery, you know, that sort of thing, that's what's going to take care of those payments, is your Part A. Mm-hmm. Then you have Part B, which is your outpatient coverage. So just like A, only outpatient coverage. With Part B, you do have a monthly premium. Let me just back up one second. With Part A, you have not a monthly premium, you have a deductible for the year, okay? Then when you go to Part B, you also have a deductible for the year and a monthly premium. This is an area where we always encourage folks to look at our extra help plans or our helping plans, which we'll talk about in a couple of minutes, but it could help pay for that Part B in all or part. Okay, then we have Part C, which is really what we call the Medicare health plans or Medicare Advantage plans. And those are plans that deliver Medicare services from a private avenue, like a Humana or one of the big giant companies may have these plans for sale, and they have everything that you're going to get from Part A and Part B in the Part C, and you're also going to get some Part D, which is that prescription drug coverage. So Part C we like to talk about as kind of a one-stop shop, and you're going to join up, you're going to go with a network. So there's a lots of questions for yourself if you're going to do that, which again we'll talk about in a few minutes. Then Part D is really the biggest focus of the open enrollment, although those other parts come into play. And Part D is your prescription drug coverage. Newest major benefit of Medicare. So glad we have it so that people can get coverage for their medications. And at this time of year, it's time to take stock and evaluate how that plan has worked for you in the past, and do you want it in the next year, or if you're brand new to Medicare, you got to figure out what to try. And this all seems a little bit complicated, but we have Medicare specialists, ship people throughout the state. They're there to help you. They don't have anything to sell. We have an 800 number. You'll ring into your local area to get more information. So now we're talking about, we want to focus on Medicare Part D, it's drug prescription plan, and we have a narrow window in which to enroll, don't we? And what is that window? Okay, so window starts October 15th and goes through December 7th, which we know as Pearl Harbor Day. And in that, it's about 6 or 8 weeks. You have a chance to take a look at all the different plans. Do you want to have a different Part D plan? Do you want to stay the same? Do you want to join an MA plan instead of being in original Medicare? Do you want to go from one MA plan to another MA plan? You have all kinds of things within that period of time to be thinking about, and so we really want to encourage folks, call your ship counselor. We'll put their number up on the screen, and we just really encourage, call early, get an appointment. If you think that you're going to be a little confused by the process, they can help. They can even just, if you want to do it yourself, they can help you. They can just get you started.
Well, let's start at the basics here. You're going from one plan, you're going from 1 year to the next. What are some of your considerations to look at? What do you need to do to prepare to evaluate whether you need a new plan or you stay with your own?
Well, first of all, pull up any kind of information that you have, whether you've kept bills or it's on your computer or wherever, for your medications throughout the year that you've used that Part D benefit for, so that you have an idea of what you spent, including premiums, monthly premiums, and including any kind of deductible that plan may have had, and get yourself a bottom line, say to October 1st. And that will help you look into the next year to see what kind of costs you might be looking at. So that's very, very important.
And you need a list of your drugs that you're currently taking, because that's important. That's dependent on what it'll cost you.
That's right. You need a list of your medications, and usually going to your pharmacy and asking for a printout is the best and easiest way. You get one thing that ship counselors sometimes find that can be difficult is that if it's written out, you can't read the writing, and you may get something wrong, and we don't want to do that, because that could change the entire plan, cost, etc. So yes, get that and have that available so that it's easy to figure out which meds you're going to be using for the coming year.
Because you'll be putting that into the computer, and the plans will be telling you what they'll cost and what they'll cover. So that's real important.
And that's called the Plan Finder. And that's called the Plan Finder.
That's great. Well, we've got a lot of great information, as you can tell, but we'll get more into the specifics in our next segment. We'll be talking about what are some of the criteria that you would use to evaluate your plan and to maybe choose another one. Great info. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
This is Bill. He just received his new Medicare card and is following some simple rules to protect himself from fraud. He knows to never give out his Medicare, Social Security, or bank number over the phone. And this is Nancy. She knows that to detect any problems, she always reads her Medicare summary notice or Medicare Advantage EOB to make sure the billing is correct. Both Bill and Nancy know that anything suspicious can be reported to Montana SMP at 1-800-551-3191.
Every generation produces heroes, men and women who step forward to defend our country in time of need, no matter the personal cost to themselves. And though we can never fully repay them, we can make sure they have access to low-cost, long-term care when they need it. That's what Montana's Veterans Homes are all about. If you've got a hero in need in your family, call us. We can help.
This is Sergeant Jones. Please respond. I was separated from my squad. Requesting backup. Anyone, please respond. I'm all alone here.
Gentlemen, this is a secure federal facility. Do you have your Montana Real IDs?
ID? I am Captain Lewis, and this is Captain Clark.
I'm sorry, I can't let you in.
Can't go into a federal facility, can't fly. Let's go back to the river.
Yes, we'll float home. Let me check the Google. What's a dam?
Discover more at mtrealid.gov.
Montana Real ID. It's the real me.
Welcome back to Aging Horizons. I'm your host, Brian Lamore. We're continuing our discussion about Medicare Part D, which is the drug prescription plan, which has the opportunity once a year during open enrollment this year, October 15th through December 7th, to evaluate your present plan and decide whether you'd like to stay in that plan or if another plan would be more advantageous to us. Now, Kimmy, when we're coming up to this time period, we need to evaluate certain things with our present plan and where we're at. What are some of those considerations?
Well, the very first thing I want to say about that is I want to tell folks about a tool that's available for them that can be very helpful in this, and it's called the mymedicare.gov account. If you go to the Medicare site and it's there, you can sign up for your own account. It is secure. You have your own password. I mean, the whole thing is very secure, and that's one place where you can get information that you might need about what you've done the prior months. Specifically, what you've spent on medication will be there. So very, very important that people get that going in their, get that account set up so that they have that tool. Very easy to use and very, very helpful. Okay? So having said that, what you're going to do is you're going to get that information. You're going to look at all those costs. You're going to say, okay, I spent this much on medication this year. I had this much in premium, I had this much in deductible. The customer service was great. I had a few bumps in the road and they were so nice to me and helped me out. I don't want to change. I'm just going to keep with this. Is that okay? Absolutely. That is absolutely okay. As I was telling you, I don't think my mom has changed hers in 10 years. And that's okay, but we need to look every year. So you're going to go through these things and you're going to look and you're going to probably talk to a shift counselor because they're the ones that know how to do this the best. And they're going to look at what other plans are going to be there in 2020 that might fit you and compare some costs. You can look at what the comparisons are going to be and decide, maybe I do want to change. Maybe I can find something for a little more affordable price, or I had a terrible time with customer service at this other plan and I didn't like that very much. I would like to switch. perfect time to do it. And again, it all kind of is sort of ground zero is that ship counselor. They're going to help you figure this out, show you how to use the tools available to do the comparisons, and give you the information that you need to make informed choice. That's the bottom line. As you said, they have nothing to sell. They're objective bystanders. They are Medicare advocates, and they're not going to try to sell you a certain plan.
Right.
You make the
You
decision.
make the decision. Well, now, Kimmy, during your answer there, you mentioned that your prescription drugs costing you too much. How you got insurance, and my assumption is that insurance will pay for everything.
Yeah.
How do you wind up paying in addition to the premiums for your drugs?
Unfortunately, they aren't all really inexpensive, and I think we know that in our country right now we're fighting a battle of how to make this more affordable for everybody. And if you find yourself in a situation like that, because at the end of the day, for the majority of people on a Medicare Part D plan, even though in many instances they're getting a really good value, they still have out-of-pocket cost. It just is. Insulin is a great example of what I've heard is just getting out of control in terms of price. So people need this coverage. They may not be able to pay for it. Luckily, we have something called a low-income subsidy that can help pay for some of that stuff. If you're eligible for the low-income subsidy, it's going to pay any premium for the month on the drug plan, and it's going to set a set fee scale for you for most of the medications so that you know it's going to be $8 and not $28, and that sort of thing. So there's many protections in that low-income subsidy, or extra help as it's also known. Another thing that the ship counselor is going to help you with. And if you don't think you're eligible, try anyway. You never know. And the worst thing that they can say is, no, you're not eligible. But if you try, that can put more money in your bank account at the end of the month to pay bills, to buy a birthday card, to get your hair done, to buy a new pair of sneakers, whatever you need. We want folks to have good life, good quality of life, and that's why those are around to help out the folks with the Part D.
And you know what? You've paid for these in the past through your taxes, your contributions, and it's a right for you to claim.
Absolutely.
Now there are several programs, and sometimes people look at one program, say, I'm not eligible, but they don't look at the others. And that's where the ship counselor will come in, because they have the big picture and can draw you in.
And because this is the perfect example, in the Medicare Part D world, there is one more benefit for people who make a little more money that they don't really look at. They don't look at resources, and that's called the Big Sky RX program. Fabulous, homegrown program for Montana citizens. A ship counselor can tell you all about it.
Yep. Give them a call.
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
Call now. We have operators standing by. And what's important, too, is that they're a part of an area agency on aging.
Right.
And part of that area agency on aging, they also have programs for seniors that can help reduce the cost of living and provide you a better life.
Exactly. I mean, you're not just going to get your Medicare sort of looked at. If you have other issues, you can tell that ship counselor, and they will either help you themselves or they will get you to the right person, and they can take a look at fuel assistance, food assistance. Do you need, any modifications made to your house, or maintenance? There's so many things that seniors and adults with disabilities need.
Yep, and we call that one-stop shopping, your area agencies on aging. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I think the most pleasant surprise when we turned 65 and signed up for Medicare Part B was finding out about our Welcome to Medicare preventive visit.
It was free, and it gave us the opportunity to visit with our doctors and establish a plan for our health going forward.
They reviewed our medical history, measured our height, weight, blood pressure, and counseled us on other risk factors.
To learn more about Medicare's free or low-cost preventive and wellness benefits, call your local ship counselor at 800-551-3191. I mentioned it's free, right?
Twice.
Questions about Medicare and other types of insurance? Contact the State Health Insurance Assistance Program office to get answers to questions like, what is the difference between Medicare and Medicaid? And how do you decide if you need Medicare supplemental insurance? This insurance counseling program is not a sales program. It is available to provide answers to your insurance questions. For more information, call the State Health Insurance Assistance Program office at 1-800-332-2272.
Elder abuse is a growing problem, and it's happening right here in our Montana communities. At least 1 in 10 older adults are victims of physical or emotional abuse, financial exploitation, or neglect. To get help or report elder abuse, call your local area agency on aging or Adult Protective Services at 1-844-277-9300.
I was the last guy you'd expect to get diabetes. I was a competitive runner and I always took care of myself. So when I was diagnosed, it kind of threw me. But it's really encouraging to know I'm not alone with it. There are a lot of other people going through the same things as I am. It takes some effort. You have to keep after it. Exercise, meds, and diet are the key. But there are a lot of folks who want me to succeed. Diabetes is not the end of the world. With effort and attitude, you can have a normal life.
Hi folks, welcome back to Aging Horizons. I'm your host Brian Lamore, and we're continuing our discussion about Medicare Part D. And Kimmy, one of the terms that might be a little bit unknown is the word formulary.
Right.
And when a senior comes across that, they might scratch their head. Tell us what that is and why it's important.
Well, it's important because a formulary is the list that your Part D company goes by to decide whether or not you can have medication, of that sort. Their list of medications or their formularies include at least 212 drug classes, and in some classes it includes all meds like cancer drugs or HIV and that sort of thing. But the other categories, they may not have every single medication of that type in that category. They may only have one or two. And let me give an example. We have run into folks who are taking a medication that's a brand name, and they cannot take the generic for whatever physical reason. Maybe the company only offers generic, they can't take it, so they would have to either pay probably a higher amount for the brand name, or they would have to ask for an exception of the company to get that medication at a price that is a lower price than that sort of premium. So those are the sorts of things that you want to look at on the formulary, and every company that has a plan provides that formulary. So you can look at the list and see, are the medications that I take mostly on here? And maybe not everyone will be. Maybe you'll have to speak with your doctor and see if you can change to a different brand or something, if you want to. That's absolutely not, we are not asking folks to do that in any way, shape, or form. That is just a way to navigate through this system if it doesn't make a lot of difference to you.
Right. Yeah, so I'm thinking that if your doctor prescribes a brand name and the company doesn't cover it, do you pay the full price of it, or do they pay the generic price and you pay the incremental amount?
Well, it all depends with every different company, Brian. Although I will say that if you're getting a brand that a company doesn't carry on their formulary, in all likelihood it will not be a small incremental price. It will probably be a big price. And so those are the things you're looking for. And when you're comparing things, using the formulary is a very smart tool. And another thing that people always ask about is, okay, so I've got all my drugs for the year, but what if in February my doctor gives me a brand new drug? Well, okay, that's fine, because remember, I said all the drug classes are covered. So something of the class that your doctor gave you will be covered by your medication plan. If it isn't the one that your doctor ordered, it may have to be changed if it doesn't make a difference. If it does, you'll need to ask for an exception so that you can get it for a decent price. And I think, I think that people all expect to have little bumps in the road, but when you're looking at these things in a sort of a general picture, you have to decide, how much grief did it cost me all year?
Oh, yeah.
Or how much happiness did it, because I didn't have to worry.
Right.
My anxiety level was low because I didn't have to worry about stressing over meds.
Yeah. Well, now, when we sign up for some of these plans, they have something that's called a preferred network.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't use them, you might pay a lot more.
Exactly. That's another thing you need to look at when you're comparing the plans is, they'll ask you what pharmacy you want to go to, and maybe the structure of pricing is different at that versus another one that they have. These are all things that people have to look into, and I know it sounds exhausting, but it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Not if it means you saving yourself stress and money. Mm-hmm. For the coming year. So really, a little bit of homework goes a long way.
And real quickly, Medicare Advantage, what are some of the considerations to change plans?
Well, Medicare Advantage, maybe you're, wanting to go with a plan that has some little extras, because that's what Medicare Advantages are about, is some little extras. Maybe you don't really want to have to see a certain person. You're okay with their network. That would be why. And before we go, I just want to really quickly mention, don't forget MSP, the Medicare Savings Program. Because even if you're in Part B Original or an MA, you can still get that assistance. And that helps pay for the Part B premium and the Part B deductible. And, that's easily $200 or $300.
Yeah. Is there a time period in which you have to sign up for those, and other time periods you cannot, or can you sign up at any time?
With MAs, we've got some different time frames. You want to see a ship counselor about that, because they can help you see what you fit into, because there's different criteria for different enrollment times, Brian, and not everybody fits every enrollment time. But no, that's not true. Everybody fits the enrollment time now. Everybody can use October 15th through December 7th. That's a Medicare beneficiary, so that is for them. And if they have special needs outside of that, call your ship counselor.
Yeah. Now let's talk a little bit more about the ship counselors. They're everywhere in the state of Montana. We have the 800 number that's up. It'll ring into your local ship counselor.
That's right.
And we're talking about October 15th to December 7th. December 6th is not the time. Or you can, but...
Well, call early because appointments fill up fast, and just know that they are there and want to advocate for you and for what you're trying to do for your own good health.
Your own good health. And they're confidential. They're not going to be talking about anybody in the community or anything like that.
Right.
And
they can help you with other things. If you have other issues or challenges, you can talk with them, and they can possibly do something about that too.
Because it's one-stop shopping.
That's right.
At your local senior center or your area agency on aging. Well, Kimmy, thank you so much. We're drawing to a close on the show. And as a quick recap to our viewers, call your ship counselor in your local neighborhood. They'll be able to help you, and so much more. Thank you for joining us.
Special thanks to the Department of Public Health and Human Services for their continued support. Hosts on Aging Horizons are program specialists at the Montana Office on Aging. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions. For more information about Aging Horizons, call the Department of Public Health and Human Services toll-free at 800-332-2272.